Alright guys, welcome back to the Regal Gentleman YouTube channel, the Regal Gentleman Studio. Today we've got Emir in the chair. How are you, mate?
I'm good.
You good?
I'm good, thank you.
Awesome, man. So,
Excited.
Excited? Yeah, me too, man. So what's the plan?
I guess before lockdown, I've always had it sort of short back in size. Nothing too fancy.
Yeah.
During lockdown, as you can imagine, I've sort of had a chance to grow it out.
Yeah.
I have a love-hate relationship with it.
Okay.
So let me tell you what I hate.
Yeah, tell me you hate first, yeah.
So the sides, they sometimes just sort of bulge out.
Okay.
And it's just really hard to tame.
Okay.
So that's the one thing. And the other thing is the front. I feel like it's just maybe too heavy at times. I just don't know how to style it.
Okay.
So I guess maybe something a bit more low maintenance. But I'm open to anything.
Okay. The things you're hating about your hair is, it looks to me as though it's a side part, right? So you are limited. The things you're not liking about it are because this kind of style, you need to leave length through here. You can't take the sides in too high, otherwise you're just left with a load of hair. Imagine doing this, you'd be left with that, right? Right, the top of your hair is very thick, it's very heavy, and that's why it just drops. I would say low maintenance, the side part isn't one of them. That's quite a high maintenance hairstyle, yeah. Because you've got to get the parting right every day, it's got to fall right. If it falls just off, then it hangs over, you know what I mean? So it isn't the easiest style to have. The length of the sides there, it's got no support for the fringe. That's why the fringe just sits really heavy. In an ideal world, what style would you want? Have you ever seen anybody with a particular look? Have you ever come across someone on the street? Is there any particular look that you would really want to achieve?
But something, I don't know, I could just wake up in the morning and not sort of fiddle around with it too much.
Do you wear product in your hair?
No.
No. Okay.
So something, yeah.
Can you just show me what you do in the mornings after you've shampooed your hair? Just show me how you kind of style your hair. What do you normally do?
Literally, when it behaves.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
Push it to the right.
Okay.
Try to tame this down and then just sort of leave it like that.
Okay.
In the past, I've been told that it looks sort of better when it's sort of, my hair covers my forehead. So I guess I'm a bit conscious of that as well, but just generally push it to the right really.
Push to the right. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you just pull your mask down for me? Yeah.
I have to do that for a sec.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, but totally open, honestly. So if you think we need to go as short as you, then just do it.
Oh no, we don't have to do that. It's just, again, it's just about getting the right cut, because your face shape to me looks heart shaped. Your autopilot is this.
Yeah.
So you wearing a fringe would be just totally against what you're normally used to doing. So it would be quite a big change. But I wouldn't do a fringe, only because the gap between the eyebrows and the hairline is so long. Yeah. It's a very long fringe, and it looks like we're trying to cover something up. I don't think you particularly need to. I don't know whether your hairline is high enough to worry about. I don't think when I seen you walk in, I wasn't like, oh, let's do something to cover his hairline. You know, it wasn't the first. My first thought wasn't that you would have seen. You know, my first thought was you got a thick head of hair. That was my first thought. So, well, first of all, if we were to shorten the fringe and kind of take away the bulk, that would help straight away. Yeah. And if you are wearing it over to one side, it's probably best working with the parting, but I don't think it's necessarily worth cutting a parting in.
Cool.
I think if we were just to have it, just so you brush it back and it falls naturally, would be quite a nice way for you. Cut the sides in so it doesn't stick out too much, but we need to still keep some length in, because if it's too flat, as you can see, it won't work too much. Okay, so we still need to leave a little bit of weight in there, but I suppose you don't need all this heaviness. It's just sitting very heavy. It's sitting very much like that at the moment, so it's sitting very heavy into the short sides, but just cut it so it makes it easier for you to manage. I think that's probably the best thing to do. I would say. Yeah, happy with that, yeah? Cool. All right, mate. Put your mat back up and I'll garn you up and get you started, mate. All right? Cool, man. Right, guys. So what I'm going to do to Emir's hair, I'm going to horseshoe section as our very first section for this haircut, because we want to focus on building the shape on the back and side, so working on primary shape. I think the finished look that I'm thinking of, where we keep everything nice and uniform on top, so we cut it both sides. That's my plan. I just want to be able to, I want Emir to wake up in the morning and do this. It falls into a natural parting. It looks nice. It's all blended in. It works for face shape. If he wants to wear product, he can. He doesn't have to. I think that's the crucial part of this, that this cut needs to be done perfectly, because if you're not wearing product, you can't disguise anything. All right, so we need to add the lift in there. That'll give him lift without anything in, just a bit of water. So we're going to just try and spend a bit of time on this parting. Again, we want this to be symmetrical both sides. Otherwise, if it's not, it'll be an asymmetric haircut. And the weight and the length will be left at different areas on the sides and the head, which when we come to connect the top, won't connect at the same place. So again, that's where the lopsidedness or the asymmetry will come into play. Right guys, so I'm going to work palm to palm on the sides and the back here. I want to really create that squareness on the sides for Emir. The regular section, so just starting just before the ear. Now as we pick it up, you'll see the angle this has been cut on last time. If I pull my fingers out, you'll see it's been on that sort of angle I was talking about before, but that might work when it's freshly cut, but as it grows out, it builds up so much weight I don't think you need to do that. Cut it nice and straight down. So using my knuckles to balance, cut off about half of the length on the sides and the back. Because if you have a look how much comes off down the bottom there, it's probably not going to be all right for half to maintain a nice square shape, and also cut it in nice around the ear for him. I'm just going to cut in this hairline here. I don't want us to leave too much length on there. So from the front of the ear to above the ear is about the width of our section we want to work on. Follow the guide. Take a section from the previous section you just cut, use that as a guide, put it in. Sometimes even if the client's got, you know, the haircut that, say they like the haircut or they're complaining about the style that they've got, even though if you think the style works for them, as long as you can make that style work better for them, you know, it's a bonus. And I think that's kind of what I'm trying to do for Emir, really, is that his autopilot is the haircut he has. Obviously he must have had it for a while or whatever, that's just the way it goes, but I want to try and just emphasize this cut because I think it works. Your parting's so strong, it's very natural parting for Emir, so I want to try and work with that. And again, something like a side part, especially a loose side part with a balance on the top and a connection both sides, so it's not like cut into a parting, is much easier to manage. I think it's a very low maintenance style, especially for Emir's hair, right? Because, you know, it's very straight, it falls quite nicely, quite easily. A bit more connection through it, it'll sit perfect for him. And I think anyone who is looking for a style that is low maintenance, it's either going to be short or it's going to be something like this. I'm following the guide. Don't worry, it looks like more's coming off, but I'm still following my guide, so it's fine. This is the moment where I used to panic. And you see it's all still working out. Is anyone else preferring the fluorescent comb that I'm using now? This is a Denman DPC3, this one is. And yeah, I was using the black one and everyone was giving me grief because they couldn't see the hair. So Liam kindly supplied me a new green comb with from Mankind. And to be honest, I kind of like working with the bright comb. I've never really used a bright comb before. I don't know why. I've always been quite conservative and used very dark combs. But I'm kind of liking it. Does anyone else like it, or is it a bit too bright?
High contrast.
High contrast indeed, yeah. I'm wearing a white t-shirt, which everyone always asks me to wear because you can't see the haircut, and a bright comb. So hopefully I'm answering the calls. There we go. That's nice and balanced both sides now. Completely even both sides as well as you pull it out. You can see using the mirror, it's both even, ends at the same height. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off with a little bit of scissor over comb down the bottom, and then we'll work into our tapering around the edges as well. Because one thing that Emir did say he likes it when it kind of pushes back a little bit down the bottom of the ear, so I'll try and use that. I still want to take it a bit shorter, but we've still got the element that his hair can still fall back. Would you like me to really sharpen this up so it looks nice and neat, or do you want to leave it quite natural? What would you prefer? Natural, yeah?
You okay with that?
Yeah, of course. I'm just going to taper this in a little bit, only because we want to try and create this angle at the back. Okay, that's what we're looking for. Again, I'm not going mega short, just a bit shorter, just so we can create that nice shape. Again, keeping everything natural though. I'm not looking for anything too harsh. Down the very bottom, we don't need that hair down there. So we're not looking for like a skin taper or anything like that at all. Just looking for something that's going to create a nice bit of curve. Now I'm really feeling like natural hairlines at the moment. I think it's such a nice contrast compared to like really sharp lined out hair. And I'd like it to come back on again, really. I'd like it to kind of come back into trend a bit because, you know, if the mullet's coming back in, but the mullet's having that contrast of it being really super sharp on the sides, but that kind of long and heavy neckline. If we could just go for something that is a bit more natural around the edges, I know it doesn't look, some people say as smart, but it can look just as smart. Like today, I mean, his hair's going to look very smart. It's going to look tidy. We're not going to leave like neck hair and stuff. So it can still have a smart appearance without having to have the traditional, right, lined up around the ears and on the neck and stuff. I'm going to use the scissors to line this out a little bit as well. Right down, just on the very ends, just cleaning this up. Put that baseline in for them. And all this hair we can remove. Just tidy everything up with a scissor. Turn the scissors around. Just follow a natural shape, get nice and straight. Like that. You just soften the edge. You just cut into it a little bit as well. I'm just using the trimmer, just going to literally just tidy up the neck hair, like so. Not going anywhere near the hairline though, I'm not going to cut into it or anything. Just going to do this, just get rid of any of that neck hair so it still looks nice and natural. Same again. Keeping that sitting the way you want it to, very natural. Natural can still be done with the trimmer involved as well, okay? Just around there like that. Again, we're not altering what we've done with the scissor work, we're just kind of tidying up the little bits that you can't really tidy up with the scissor. Well, you could do, but I've got a pair of trimmers, so I'll just use them. Just cut into this hairline a little bit. Moving on to the top. Now, I want to give Emir a nice balanced haircut for yourself. So I want everything to connect both sides. I don't want to cut a parting in, and I want to take away all that fringe that's just fallen really heavy. So now he can just run his hands through his hair. Like he said, he does it to the right. So I want to be able to encourage him to do that, but with a style that's going to work for you as well. Here we go. Now I'm going to take center part. So run it from middle of the eyebrows, straight back. And then as you lift your head up for me, Emir, it helps me pull it back. And then we split it like that. Taking sections left to right, just before the crown. Now I'm going to take a section from just above the round of the head, like so. Now I'm going to take this down to probably roughly halfway down the head, okay? Because I still want to keep some length in that top. So just pulling it out, finding a guide underneath that I can use. Here we go. And cutting. So no elevation on it, maintains more length in there for us, which allows us to keep some length through the top, but it also allows us to bring it back and connect in too. See, so we're still maintaining that nice square shape when it's brushed back as well. There's that fringe that was kind of not working. Put that in. It falls nicely still as well. Cool. Another section just before the centre. There's my guide, you can see sitting underneath. Let's take one section just past. Cut that over too. There we go. I think your hairline looks nice and straight, man. I think it looks too high at all. But even if it does bother you, Got a little bit of weight there that can cover it as well. And that side's the same as the other side because we follow the guide. And the guide's sitting through. There's a lot of length here because this was cut into a side part. If you remember, it's a lot longer over this side. I'm trying to take off a length that I think will work for them, okay? A section from behind. It might not look like we're taking a lot off, but don't forget how much we took off when we were doing our horizontal sections side to side. It's quite a lot of length off there as well, so. Let's comb it out from the way it wants to grow. What we'll do, bring this out horizontally, cut it in, using the guide from behind, and then we pick a guide from underneath. And then we can use to cut our crown into place, so we know we're going to cut it too short. And cut it into bits to soften it. We'll finish that up at the end. Now, a little bit off the front, it's going to come to a point as well. If there's pick the length we want to take off the peak, I'm going to take about that much off. Just point cut into the fringe, that's hard as well. We still want to leave a bit of a peak in there though. I'm going to pick it up through the middle. I'm just going to add a little bit from the centre, here the middle, up to the top. Just a little bit. I'm not putting the razor in on a harsh angle, just very, very slightly. Just taking that little bit of hair out. What it's going to do is just help the hair move around a little bit. It won't sit as flat. You see the angle of the razor is very, very side on. And it's just sliding up into the hair like that. Not looking to create loads of like height or for it to spike up. We still need a bit of weight in there. Like so. So we have the front there, just behind the front. That'll do for now. Now, just gonna dry it off. Literally nothing in it. Just gonna blast it dry, okay? Medium speed, high heat. Do you use a hairdryer yourself or do you just let it dry naturally?
Naturally.
Naturally, go. The last thing I'm going to do now is just point cut into the horizontal section we took before, because it will still have a line as it lies flat. I just want to take that out, pull it up and out. Okay, that gives us the line. And we just point cut into it, just to soften it. Pull it out, cut into the ends. So not compromising the length, just creating that lovely shape through there. I know it's sitting nice and flat. Again, you know, you've seen me blow dry, but I didn't blow dry as in like use a brush or anything, just literally just blasted it off. It's sitting nice, see? Pull that out, up. A little bit of cold there to finish. Now, I want Emir to vouch for me now. We haven't edited out me using a styling product or anything like that, have we? It's just continuous from what we've been doing, yeah? And there's the haircut you came in with.
Amazing.
With a balance to it, the shape and the structure to it. The fringe isn't too heavy. You could wear it slightly coming forward if you wanted to. You could wear it just falling over. You could even wear it this way if you want to, which I think looks really nice if you just pull that apart. You might need a little bit of product to keep that over in one side, but I think that looks really like that. I think that shape looks wicked for you. Can you just pull your mask down for me a second? I think that looks awesome. That side. So what it does, when you go against the way it grows, you get more height. When you go with the way it grows, it sits a lot flatter. Yeah. So it just depends on how you feel. If you want to maybe fancy switching it up, have a bit more height, maybe a bit more casual. You're working from home like you said, so get away with keeping that shape in there, just pop a little bit of powder in. I can always put a little bit of powder in for you if you want to see what that looks like, you know, so you have a little go while you're here. It's up to you. Because you know what it looks like that way. Do you want to try it with a little bit of powder in so you can see what it looks like, yeah? So I'll use a little bit of the Red Chem powder grip, okay? Again, it's number 3, which is the level of hold, so it's very light. There's not much hold to it. But I think you know how it feels. Just have a little run through your hair now for me. So it feels a lot thinner.
It does.
But you can see it's not hard to style at all, right? But what you can do if you want to wear it this way, just blast your hair back, okay? Or just let it dry naturally. Doesn't really matter, okay? What you do, push it over and sprinkle in some powder. It's totally matte, totally dry, dead easy to wash out. That's all you do. And then rub it in to your hair. And all that will do is just add a little bit of definition, a little bit of grip. That will just keep the hair in place a little bit longer. And I think that suits you so much because you've got that double crown, it worked both ways, so you're quite lucky. And then you can just emphasize that squareness. Just pull them out and flatten it down. And that's it. It's dead easy. I think that looks really nice, that man. But I mean, having the option to do 2 things now will change how you style your hair. It'll make it much easier in the mornings. You don't have to do the same look all the time, you know. Sometimes cutting in a parting is nice if you're gonna wear it like that every single day. But if that's not your intention, or your intention is very low maintenance, cutting a parting in doesn't always work. It doesn't have the same effect. Now that's the natural finish around the edges. So it's not sharp, it's sharp-ish, but you've got the hair just sitting quite natural around there as well. So that goes out really nicely. Amazing. And the shape to the back of the head now, as you can see, it doesn't sit as flat, it doesn't protrude out the back here. It just sits in really nicely curved and tapers into the neck.
Amazing.
Happy, yeah?
Really good.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much. Cool.
You're a wizard.
I love that.